Great. Welcome in, friends and future friends, to this episode of the Sports and the World podcast. I'm LaDarius. Hope all of you are well and safe out there. And we got the gang back together. My co-host, the wonderful and amazing, no introduction needed, but I'll give it anyway. It's the amazing Hailee Murphy. And how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Team USA national team probably not doing well. Not my concern. But so speaking of that, let's just jump right into the World Cup. Exciting. I just Brazil, not Brazil. Yeah, Brazil getting knocked out. I was like, okay. Norway's a great story. France looking like France. I think they're up 2-0 at stoppage time. I think they got that in hand. Um, it's a lot. But I'm curious to get your thoughts on the World Cup. And if you want to talk about the USA, you can. If not, I won't hold it against you. And who do you like? Who do we like? Taking it home?
Yeah, I'm so happy that the World Cup is happening right now. I think, in terms of just humanity, I think we needed something like this to kind of bring us all together and remind us that there's more to life than, these people running our countries. But I think something that kind of has helped the World Cup, or this year's World Cup, be a little better is the expansion. And we went from 32 teams to 48, and that allows so many other countries to participate, but it also allows smaller countries to, overtake these big countries in this game. And so I think it's been really fun. um, I think right now I would say that the front runner for some people is probably Argentina and France, right? You've got Messi playing strong, but I think for me, I'm going Spain all the way. I've liked Spain going into this. Two of my personal favorite footballers are on Team Spain, so I've been watching them really closely. I will say though, their last two games, so in the actual knockout rounds, haven't been seeing them play as hard as they did in the group stages, which was kind of sad. But it is nice to see those younger, newer guys kind of stepping up and taking a role. But of course, you've got Lamine Yamal, the superstar, the golden boy. Love him, and he's just so fun to watch. But yeah, I think Argentina. I think it's an interesting story with Messi being, how old, 34 on the older side. I think, it's having these younger kids stepping up, but it's the depth, right? So do they have the depth to continue to go on? I don't know. I like that. We just watched France win. That's really awesome. There's some behind the scenes drama there with Paraguay and some players on France. I think that's kind of the sad part of all of the contentious players in such a positive atmosphere. But watching France be so strong is really awesome. But yeah, I'm just really excited. I've been enjoying it. I love seeing all of the people that are in the US and they're experiencing all these things for the first time. And it's funny, I watched a video just recently and someone was going around, polling these visitors, and they're asking them what their favorite foods are that they've tried here. And a majority of Australian fans really like Long John Silver's. And I thought that was interesting because I feel like in the US we're not really on that train anymore. But it was funny. And then there were some fans that said Arby's. So outside of like Chick-fil-A and those popular ones right now, it was Arby's and Long John Silver. So I thought that was funny. But I love seeing people from all over the world visit other countries, visit our country, and see, we're much more than what they see in the news and read in the papers. And so I don't know, I've been having a really, really fun time with this, watching pretty much every game. I realized there was it Fox Sports that was looking for people to, like, two people to watch every single World Cup game, and they put them in a box in New York. I think it was Fox. But at first I was like, that's a crazy idea. I don't think I could do it. But I'm realizing I'm watching every game anyway. So I probably could have done it and got paid for it. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is a really fun time. It sucks for the US, but I'll be honest, they just kind of didn't show up. They didn't play the way they should have played. They didn't play the way they played in the 4 games before that. The commentary afterwards was pretty interesting. And then finding out Pulisic he was playing with an injury. So I don't know. It's interesting, but U.S. aside, I think Spain can go all the way, and I would love to see Cucurella win a World Cup.
Yeah. And first of all, like I'm Team Long John Silver, because here's the thing. I had a Long John. We had a Long John Silver's around here, and for some reason they closed. And because me and my sister we loved some Long John Silver. And then she said, "No, they closed." I'm like, "Wait, what?" This was a couple years ago, and like the closest one is in Orlando. Now, am I too far from Orlando? No. Would I go like off day? Yeah, sure, but like those Australians have pretty good taste. Didgeridoos, Long John Silvers, they're okay in my book. And to your point, I think it's a great point to be made. Is that the U.S. From a global perspective, from a geopolitical perspective, doesn't look the greatest. But the fact that we have so many countries here, and being one of the host nations, and you're seeing, like, I think they saw it was when Japan, they were like eating barbecue, like they were when it was in Kansas City. And to your point, and it's like when they went to, I think when Scotland, when they were in Boston, drinking up all the beer, it's like the perception is not always the reality. And I stress that a lot, and I say that because not everybody, I think if you look at it like, oh well, everybody in America is this and this. But when they come here, we enjoy it. And then more importantly, they enjoy it. And like the Arby's thing, I'm not I'm Switzerland when it comes to Arby's. I don't hate Arby's, but if you gave me a choice,
Not picking it.
maybe the one time I had oh man, I can't I went there, and it's good because I like their oh boy, their euros or gyros, whatever you call. They're fantastic. I love a good euro. I was somewhere and I put a certain sauce on there. It wasn't Arby's sauce, and it was like, boy, it opened up all the sinuses.
Oh yeah.
And I was like horseradish. That's what it was. And I was like, oh yeah, this horseradish. Yeah, I don't care. Me being ignorant is bliss. And a friend of mine was visiting, and she saw my face, and I was just, "What? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm great. What's wrong?" "You're sweating in an air conditioned building." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, it's that." So maybe like Arby's is good, but going back to the soccer side of things, that's your Arby's stories, America, and those who are listening globally. Um, Going back to the U.S. To your point, they quit. I'll just say it. They quit. And while there's been great stories in this World Cup, like Cape Verde has been one of the great stories. Like to your point, sometimes we thought like, oh, you're expanding. It makes it no. We get countries like Cape Verde. We get those stories. Like no, they hung toe to toe with the defending FIFA champions in Argentina, and we're like, this game was supposed to be 2-0, 3-0. No, they're hanging around. Took them to extra, to plus stoppage time, and it's like and then you saw the look on Messi's face, like because they brought it. Cape Verde brought it, and but going back to the U.S., they folded. They folded like a bunch of deck chairs, and then and here's the thing, I love Fox. I love their commentary team. Rebecca Lowe, she's killing it. Like my guy Thierry Henry, like him, and I loved him when he's on CBS when he's hanging out with Kate Scott and all these. Like he's great. My guy's like that's my guy. Like he should be running the Fox VP. Like that's I'd be okay with that. Respectfully, it's Alexi Lalas, and I don't want to be rude. I was raised not to be rude, But it feels that we have the conversation like we talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Like, this is our year. Like, every 4 years, we say for America, for the men's team, oh, this is our year. No. And, oh, they look great. I rooted for them. Okay, why not I root for America? Like, even though deep down, like, I was rooting for France. I picked France to win. But, like, we're not going to talk about that. But, like, okay, I'll root for America. We can, belt folded. I immediately said, you know what? Good thing I'm watching Monday Night Raw. I don't need to watch this. And then even watching Monday Night Raw, I'm like, maybe I just should have went to bed. In retrospect, I just should have found a book and just went to bed because it was just bad all the way. If you saw the end, you saw the end. You know what happened. Yeah, I have thoughts on that. But if we have time, I'll share it. But if not, future show. But going back to the USA, it's like we have to have the conversation that, simply put, the U.S. men's national team is not ready. Carly Lloyd, one of the great women who played for the women's national team, had a hat trick in the World Cup, by the way. A hat trick. Which, in soccer, listen, it's a very hard sport. I tried it. I fell. I said I'm good. I was like, I got Charlie Brown, but, nobody was holding the ball. I just went da-da-da-da-da-da. But anyway, she brought up a point about Christian Pulisic that I thought was great. And it's like basically saying that you kind of play through it until you're out of the tournament. And people were like, oh, no, like, no, I'm going to listen to somebody who's been there, done that, who's won this Olympic, gold. Like, my problem with the U.S. men's national team, and why I've always been the bigger supporter of the women's national team, is that the women's national team, for the World Cup, like, they've done it 9 times. They'll do 2027. It'll be number 10 in Brazil, tournament. Here's when people say that Carly Lloyd has no credibility. I say this. Now, out of 9 times for the women's World Cup, you know how many titles they have? They got 4. That's almost half the time. And here's the great thing. They were the runner-up once. They lost to Japan in 2011. And they finished third 3 times. So think about this. 8 of the 9. No, better than my math. Yeah. 8 of the 9 women's FIFA World Cup, the U.S. women's team way to finish in the top 3. 1 year. I can't remember the year. The 1 year they didn't. Now, the men's turn's been around much longer.
Yep.
And the men are saying best we can do is 3rd place. That's the best we can do. And it's like, no. People said, listen, soccer, I watch it. Like, in terms of global, I'm still looking for a favorite team. I put that out there. Put in your bids and your cases. Should I like Man City? Should I like Real Madrid? I'll let you guys decide.
Or Barcelona household over here.
So listen, I'm taking applications and I'm going to read them. And, maybe my cat will look at some when I maybe fall asleep. But nonetheless, it doesn't mean I'm bored with your stuff. It's that, I'm an adult and, I get tired during the day. But my overriding point is that the problem is that they just fall short. Is that how can the women's national team, they've been great successfully for a little over 3 decades. The women's World Cup has been competed 9 times, started in like 1991. The women somehow have finished in the top 3 8 of those 9 times in the World Cup. The World Cup for the men has been around, I believe, since 1930. Best we can do is 3rd place. Round of 16. Like, is that the? And all I hear, like Alexi Law is like, bro, just say we're not good enough. Just say it. As the last way, it's like, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you might want to turn off your. It's like I hear this every year from Dallas Cowboy fans. This is our year. This is our year. And I'm like, you got to show me, because, listen, I'm not trying to hate on but you got to show me. That's what the U.S. men's national team has to do for me, because Christian Pulisic, the hype in where is it? Like, there's better players on that business. There's hopefully for the future. I'm not going to say, listen, 2030, we got to figure it out. Like, the U.S. women's national team has always been better than. That's why I've always watched them. People are like, oh, those women. No, I watch Mia Hamm. I watch Michelle
Yep,
Akers. I watch Brianna Scurry. I trust Julie Foudy. I trust Carly. The future with you got Trinity Rock.
my girl.
I'll watch them because you know what they do. You know when the stage is there on the world stage, 8 out of the 9, 10 times they finish in the top
They
three.
win.
But four out of the 9 times, that's almost half. They won half the turn. I need to know what the men's excuse is. Oh, it's the pay for play. Like, no, stop. Just say we're not good enough. Because see, here's the thing: basketball figured that out. I said when we weren't putting professionals in basketball, we were getting mollywopped.
Yep.
What did we do in 1992? Hey, let's get Jordan. Let's get Magic. Let's get these guys. And we were mollywopping people in Barcelona like it was nobody's business. And then after that, everybody got better. Spain got better. Argentina. Other countries got better at basketball. The problem with the U.S., we never got better on the men's side in soccer. The women, I'd argue the women's basketball still better on the Olympic stage. Like, people been saying you're making it about, like, no, my point is that I need to know the excuse of why the men are crumbling and the women are doing great. Because I was told that, oh, women, this is what I was read and told. And I'm like, listen, I'm not calling people liars, but I'm low-key calling you a liar. Like, I don't want to hear Alexi Lawless excuse. I don't want to hear excuses. Because here's the thing. The U.S. women's national team has just been successful. Find out what they're doing right. Invest in the talent. Like is it because is there no talent in the MLS? Is it like what's the problem? I don't know. I'm not getting paid to figure that out. So that's a U.S. men's problem. Shifting to another sport. Thank God. Sorry for the rant, America. But I'm like, what Carly Lloyd said was right. Listen, Christian like, okay, you're hurt. Listen, I've never played soccer. Good, because I ain't trying to run that, and I respect the athletes who do. Because when I ran doing baseball, I'm like, man, I'm out of breath running 90 feet. Imagine running the pitch. Like, no, thank you. And I got to do that for how many minutes? Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you. And so we got some comments in here. We got John Brooks saying, "What's up, everybody?" We're Yeet. Yeah, Yeet. Yeah, we all like a little Jey Uso here, Yeet. And we got Dan DiMarino, can't best European competition. Yeah, can't best. Can't beat. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the exact problem.
They literally breed soccer players there. Breed them. I mean, in Bilbao, the only players that can be on a Bilbao team are people who literally grew up and trained and literally ate their goat cheese. Like, that's literally that's it. Train better, be better, but we dropped the ball physically and metaphorically.
Yeah. That's like I say, what to Dan's point, in basketball, that's what we were trying to avoid. Europe getting better. Like, we had to get a step. Like, look at the NBA. There's a lot of European influence. Like with the Euro step we got here, we got Luka, Dirk, and then you go back even further. Arvidas, Sabonis, Tony Kukoc. It is showing my age, and I know how old I am. America, we don't need to talk about that. But the point is that when it comes to soccer, how do we get, like Dan's point? We can't beat teams in Europe. Because it's just like how Canadians with hockey, like, why is it like every Olympics? Oh man, they're always in the final. Gee, I wonder why. Watch the NHL. Yeah, like, why are teams like Russia and can't like they literally invest in it? It's like baseball. Certain countries, it's about baseball. It's their national sport. It's like, oh, why are they great? Because they invest in it and they make it I don't want to use the word priority, but in a way I kind of want to use the word priority. So is it America, like, how much do we prioritize soccer compared to the NBA, the NFL, and Major League Baseball, or and even the NHL? Where, like, before soccer fans come after me, let's shift gears in the time we have. I want to talk about the NBA. Last week I broke down the trade between Boston and Philly with Jalen Brown and like Paul George. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, what do we do with Boston? Like, you gave up a decade of Jalen Brown to say, you know what? We'll take some picks in Paul George. Like, Paul George couldn't even play. I think I put the stat. He didn't play 82 games over the last two seasons. But that's the guy you okay. But there's other news to go around. We have the LeBron news, which I want to talk about, and I broke down those teams. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on. I shared my thoughts on last week, so I'm curious to get your thoughts on LeBron and what teams do you like him? What team do you think would ideally would be that you see him going to in his likely final season in the league?
Yeah, I think for me, I see him going to one of two teams. I think the Heat is a big contender for him. I look at not only, the team itself and, the fact that they just got Giannis, but I look at external factors. Think about it. He's getting old. He wants to retire. Most people, when they retire, they go to Florida, right? But then the second team I think about is Cleveland. I think that's just the storybook ending for him and his career. LeBron is a drama queen. He loves the theatrics. I think it would just fit really well with his story, but I also think obviously it's LeBron in Cleveland, like there's nothing better, right? So I'm expecting one of those two teams. I was actually expecting news today, but I keep looking at my phone waiting for it. But yeah, I would love to see him either back in Miami or back in Cleveland. I think both of those teams, we would, obviously take them to the championship. But I think that they're both places that he would see himself and would like to just settle down and retire in. But I don't know. I'm excited. Still hoping for that news.
Yeah, I talked about it on the show last week, and I said it's basically what does LeBron want at this point in his career? What I don't. He has championships. He's all-time leading scorer. Like at this point, does he want to chase another? Does he want to get another ring, or does he just want to go somewhere and be like, you know what, this is business. I want to retire, and that's why I essentially said I looked at if he goes to Golden State. He has a business, like he's a business guy. Go to California, like listen, from a basketball perspective, it's great to have Steph and LeBron, but yeah, 10 years ago that would be great.
Yeah.
Now, like, you're not getting 82 games out of that. Like, respectfully, you're not getting that. I think that Cleveland's interesting, and I think the X factor there is James Harden. Because he's a free agent. I was really he was looking great. He's breaking the playoff stuff, and then he made me look bad. A lot of people make me look
Yeah,
bad,
he did.
which is why I don't support. Hey, why don't you support people in public? Yeah, that's why. Because I get stuff like that. But and then we have Dan jumping in saying, I don't think he's coming to Cleveland, but we will see. He's going crazy in Akron. Yeah, I think what makes Cleveland open, and I mentioned this, is that just go home. Just go home. Not like how people said Urkel home. Not like that. Go home. No, it's like just go home. And like you have Donovan Mitchell, you have Jared Allen, you got Evan Mobley. You can still compete. It's the East. I feel he needs to go to a team in the East. Out West, it's as like if he wanted to go out West, the one team that I would really suggest on is San Antonio. Because San Antonio, the youth cost him the NBA Finals.
Yep.
Wemby dribbling the ball and just throwing to the back of De'Aaron Fox. Blowing leads. It's like you get LeBron that team, that's not going to happen. So I feel that their youth and the future is bright for San Antonio. But you put LeBron there for a year, they learn under pairing, LeBron with Wemby, that could be fun. But to me, it's Golden State, Cleveland, And to me, San Antonio should be definitely considered. I really do. If he's serious about a championship, if not, go to Miami. I don't, Pat Riley, he'll find the money somewhere. Like people say, why don't you look at like when I talk about sports, I talk about the salary cap more in the NFL than any other sport. In the NBA, oh, they're negative, blah blah blah. They move numbers. They'll figure it out. I'm not an accountant, but they'll move like, oh, tax exemption here and they if he wanted to go there, he could go there. But I think Philly now, with the addition of Jaylen Brown, makes it interesting. He has options. But I think Cleveland, Golden State, I think Miami has a wild card, and San Antonio. I think you're getting contenders or a chance just to go home and be like, hey, retire. Hey, you want to come to Florida? I'm in Florida. No, listen, I might just leave here on purpose and come back and retire. Because that's what we do. Hey, what's a great place to retire? Like Florida. Like that's the first. No one says Arizona. No one says New Mexico. No one's like, they say Florida. So great. Even like Tom Brady played here. So it's like,
yeah.
So, in retrospect, I'm like, man, the reputation stays strong. But nonetheless, before we get out here, just wanted to say, listen to this episode, every episode of the Sports in the World podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Follow the social media, LaDarius Brown on Twitter and TikTok. They're _Brown on Instagram. Follow Hailee at Hailee Murphy everywhere. We'll mention it again at the end of the show. But I throw in the middle of the show because I will forget. But I want to put a button on the show, and I want to talk about the WNBA and the All-Star voting. Like MLB All-Star voting, I'm going to get very upset when I talk about it. So we're not going to talk about that because I voted for people and like went into the list. I'm like, I get very upset. It's like you get very upset when the person you voted for doesn't win. That's how I feel. It's like, and now listen.
I got one thing to say about that though. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Can someone please, like, genuinely give me a real argument other than Blue Jays fans are nuts as to why Dylan Dingler was not voted as a starter? Dylan Dingler is not even argument. Like, you can't even argue that he's not the best catcher in the league. Absolutely ridiculous. I've never been so upset in baseball watchers in my life, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
I think we can end the show on that. But no, see, that's the thing. That's what I don't see. Here's the thing. And when you have the fan vote, like the percentage of it, we got to bring that down. And see, in the WNBA, like it's 50% fans and broken down 25% between media and players. And I talked about this, and I think I even shared. I think I can. If my hands are, let's see, I brought it up. I'll just be really. Oh, it's already there. Great job. So I brought this up. Ignore that. Here we go. And so I brought up this is the fan voting, and how you see Beckers, Caitlin, Aaliyah Boston, and so when it came down to the starters. What if I told you that Angel Reese was not voted a starter? And I'm like, yeah. And it's like none of the dream players who are arguably the team that I have, they look good. And I said it when the trade happened. I said Angel Reese, Alicia Gray, I really liked them. Rhynie Howard. I like the way that their offense played. But I showed it to prove this point. I showed it because, you see, this is what the fans think. The players, Caitlin Clark was voted 11th. And I mentioned this once again. It's a throwback to the show. So go back and listen to the show. I said other things. I assure you I did. But I mentioned this point. Is Caitlin Clark the 11th best point guard in the? No. But this is, and it was from, and that 11 that came heavily from the player voting, and I've always said that, and I said on the show, I said the reason why she gets, what people feel is her fans, and then she does no favors with she does no favors. It's her fan base, and people understand. It's the old saying: "It's the company you keep." It's her fan base because they just started watching the WNBA the minute she got drafted, number one overall, and they're going to tell people who've been watching, like you and I've been watching it for years. I've been watching it for 20 plus. You're going to tell people like us, "Oh, Caitlin Clark is the best." Stop. Like somebody, like I said, I tell this story. Somebody had the nerve on social media to say this was like a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. "Oh, Diana Taurasi is better than look. Caitlin Clark is better than Diana Taurasi." I'm like, listen, I'm a Sue Bird fan, and like when I'm coming to defend Diana Taurasi, you know, there's a problem because most times it's like I have nothing against Diana Taurasi. She's one of the greatest players in the league of all time. Sue Bird's my forever go. If I'm out here defending Diana Taurasi in these streets, that means we're saying stuff that makes no sense. It's like we gotta chill. And at the end of the day, listen, you can't make it about, "Oh, you're just racist against here's the Clark." I just showed you the number. Paige Beckers is the top vote getter amongst the fans. Like like I say, Caitlin Clark fans get her the reaction she gets, especially from the players. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on the WNBA All-Star voting, your thoughts on Caitlin Clark, and whatnot.
Yeah. I think it's interesting how the WNBA does do all-star lineups, but I, I mean, I can't disagree with anything that you said. I think if anything, player votes should say a lot more, right? I mean, these are people that these women are playing with each other, every single day. They know each other and they know their opponents better than we as fans do. But I thought it was interesting. I believe it was Candace Parker. She had some things to say about player voting and heavily argued against feelings outweighing performance. And that was her reason for advocating against player voting or a smaller percentage going into the final vote count, right? And I thought that was interesting because isn't that the whole point of like an all-star team? Isn't that the whole point of fans voting, right? That seems very, very jaded and contradictory to the whole purpose of all-stars, right? All-stars is the people that are all-stars should be the athletes that people want to see play, right? Whether it be because they are popular or whether it be because they are phenomenal and have the best talent on the court, doesn't matter. They both can work together. And so I thought that was interesting. But I mean, we see the state that the league's in right now, so I can't really say I'm surprised. But yeah, I think that the votes really do say a lot. And we're constantly talking about the Caitlin Clark fan base and everything that just recently happened with AT and that it just was, I don't know, it's getting tiring, it's getting exhausting, it's getting played out and boring. And I'm really tired of the double standards that the league is showing now. You have people who are coming out of the woodworks and advocating for almost like Caitlin Clark's supremacy, which is strange to me because look at the talent we have. I'm sorry, but A'ja Wilson will forever be my GOAT. Like and anybody who has watched a lick of women's basketball could understand that. The problem is people that are watching now, it's diluted with solely Caitlin Clark fans. I mean, it's kind of sad for the league, and I think it's making the league regress. Even though, a few years ago, the whole point of moving the league forward was getting visibility on the games and the league and these players. And yeah, Caitlin Clark did that, but I'll be honest with you, it's kind of detrimental right now. I feel bad for players that have to be on the opposite side of the fans' arguments. I know AT was receiving disgusting things sent to her. And at the end of the day, it's a game. At the end of the day, it's their job. Your fandom should never cloud your judgment, but unfortunately, it's a certain type of person that does that, and so it's sad. But I think in terms of the All-Stars, I think at the end of the day, the starters, it gets it right. I do like the percentage base. I do like that media is involved. I do like that players are involved, and it balances out in a good way. But I just think that the commentary around it is a little interesting, and kind of ass backwards.
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't have said it better myself. I think the one thing I'll say before we get out of here is simply this: is that if there's always a line for fans, like when we're talking about Alyssa Thompson, we're talking about AT, she was getting death threats. There's a line, and I don't care whether you're a Caitlin Clark supporter or not. We all gotta understand fandom has a line. If you don't like a player, and we've seen in the NBA, I think it's like Russell Westbrook, like a fan said, like fans, like listen, the players don't owe you anything. Like you just like they're people just like you, and at the end of the day, you just can't say things like that because if you say it to a regular person, you go to jail. You can't be threatening people. They're athletes. They're human beings. It's a game, at the end of the day. So on that note, before we get out of here, Hailee, tell all the amazing people where they can find you and all your amazing thoughts on sports and everything of that nature.
Amazing is not the word I would use. So come in, if you follow me, come in cautious because I say a lot of things. But you can find me on all social media platforms at the Hailee Murphy, and that's Hailee with 2 E's.
There you go. And I think I said where I was at. I think I did. But listen, we'll always have more to talk about. But until and also, I see my buddy Joey right in here, LaDarius. That's my buddy there. We're in a Scott Fishbowl. We're in a league. Good friend. He's a Bucks fan. So somehow we get it's like Sharks and Jets. So and we got like agreed players. So it's nothing. And going to fall a second. I appreciate you, Joey, as
Thank
always.
you.
And I appreciate all of you, friends and future friends, listening to this episode. Until you hear Hailee and I again, be real, be real, be you, be blessed, and be safe from all of us here from the Sports and the World podcast.